Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the newest and latest chapter, the first chapter of 2022 of Akatsuki no Yona, also known as, and sing it with me for the first time in 2022, Yona of the Dawn! My voice hasn't gotten any better this year. Damn it, damn it, damn it. But either way, let's jump into chapter 219 of Yona of the Dawn, because god damn it, this is a pretty solid chapter. This is a pretty damn good chapter. We get the emotional turmoil, we get the oh shit, we get the plot development, we get a lot of good things in this chapter. Not going to be super in-depth or super lengthy, because realistically it's a little bit of, okay, here's the situation with Hawk, let's go. Here's the situation at the front lines, let's go. Right? That summarizes the chapter pretty nicely. It's cut into two separate sections, one following Hawk as he gets himself deeper and deeper into basically enemy shit, and then what's happening on the battlefield on the front lines now that Yona, the four dragons, and soo-won have shown up to the battlefield on the province battlefront, right? So either way, let's just jump into the first part of the chapter, because I really like that this Raran, or the little kid, Hawk's like, yeah, no, it's not that pouch. Go find me another pouch. It looks like this. It looks like this. And he's got the little kid running all over the place looking for his pouch, because he still needs, Hawk is still looking for the Senjuzo, and he's hoping beyond, like with false, basically not false hope, but just hoping for the best. Hoping with this sliver of hope that maybe it can be found. Maybe it wasn't washed away in the flood. Maybe it was still on him and it was buried along with the corpses, blah, 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 where he was being buried. Something like that, right? So he's trying to figure out what the situation is. The battlefield is just over yonder, that kind of deal. Is Yona at the castle? Where's the princess? Where are the dragons? Soo-won, is he here? Is he the one leading the army? What's actually happening? Now, of course, we have Hawk's wife, I guess. We're going to Hawk's wife here, basically saying, like, keep your head down, don't be an idiot, don't be a fool, that kind of deal. All the men in this village were taken out. It's, it's conscription. It's the draft, right? So you stick out like a sore thumb. It's sort of like the Pokemon world, right? Up in here. It's sort of like you don't see very many healthy, able-bodied people that aren't Pokemon trainers, right? So if you're not a soldier, you're sticking out, somebody's going to tattle, we're going to be in shit. So, like, keep out of sight, keep out of notice. Now, this is where we meet another one of the generals. Brand new character. We meet another one of the generals, apparently a general, what's his name? General Kaji. General Kaji is this new guy who is apparently, we're not going to like this guy, are we? We're not going to like this guy very much, because he picks up Raran and, like, illegitimate child. It's sort of like reminding me a little bit of Aladdin here. Going Arabian Night with this thing. It's like, oh, so you were trying to take something of mine. Well, even though you're a child, I'm going to cut your finger off. That'll teach you a lesson about thieving. It's like, okay, so we're going definitely medieval with this shit. We're going very medieval. This guy is very straight and narrow medieval. He cares more about grass and plants than he does human life. He's like, I hate people, and I'm glad that people are dying. And even though I have no problem cutting people down, it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth to be cutting a child. It's like, oh my god, you mean you feel actually bad about hurting someone? Wow, like, Jesus Christ, stop my beating heart. This man, this new general, Kaji, he's got a way of working into our hearts, doesn't he? He's got this way of this methodology, the psychosis that's happening right now. Like, you just look into his dead, cold eyes, like a fish's. And then you feel the deep darkness of the sea and its crushing weight. And for some reason, that's comforting and heartwarming as hell. I mean, this guy, he's going to lead us to the light, right? I mean, this is who we're going to follow in our new religion. I know we're Hawk fanboys, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're Hawk fangirls, but I think this General Kaji is just so heartwarming. I think we got to start the cult of Kaji. Are you with me? Either way, point of the matter is that this guy is a little, couple screws loose. Let's just call a spade a spade. And now Hawk's wife runs up and basically says, that's my kid, I'm very, very sorry, and apologizes and all this stuff. And he's just like, well, you're going to get your hand cut off, blah, blah, blah. It's Arabian Night up in here. That's when, this is the moment. This, the rest of the chapter was pretty solid. The rest of the chapter was pretty good. But this was a Bleach moment. This was the Bleach moment. Once again, I can't stress enough how hilarious this is. Not only do we get the return of Bleach, of course, we got the return of Bleach last year, and we got the announcement that the anime is coming out, last year, and it's supposedly coming out 2022 this year. Supposedly, that's the tentative date from what I've heard, tentative news. But here, Black Clover just did it in their latest chapter, and now we're having Hawk do it in his latest chapter, and it's just like, we're doing the Bleach moment. We're doing the #1 moment. The ching! We're doing the sword swipe. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's the big moment in the big manga called Bleach. You're on my channel. You must know what Bleach is by now. There's a huge moment, and if you haven't seen Bleach, it's spoiler warning ahead. I don't feel like I need to say that, but either way, stopping the sword, catching the sword with your bare hands. It's like, swing down, ding, dead. We get the #1 moment. The #1. So, Hawk here is being a total badass. While injured, a general of Kai comes swinging his sword down. And I'm sure it wasn't with all the strength or whatever. But still, a general swings his sword and he just, ching. Cut your sword, bitch. Like, once again, we were going to start, as I said, we were going to start the cult. The deep, dark sea cult that is General Kaji. We were going to start it. And then Hawk shows up and leads us back to the light, out of that ocean, and to the sunrise, because this man stops that. It doesn't matter if it's a sea or a goddamn Atlantic Ocean. This guy is just like, no. No, we're not starting any character religion in my manga, bitch. This is my story. So, we got Hawk here, completely stopping the blade. It was just such a badass moment, such a badass panel. I'm going to try to fit it as the thumbnail because it's just so goddamn cool. It's just so cool. He did the Ichigo moment, but it's reverse. He's Aizen in this moment. He's Aizen. He's the main character, and he's pulling a Sosuke Chair-sama Aizen. This is awesome. This is freaking awesome. Those of you who know exactly what I'm talking about are going like, yep, absolutely. Some of you are sitting there like, what is it with this guy in Bleach? Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? And I'm just going to tell you right now, it has everything to do with nothing. But the point of the matter is, badass moment of Hawk. Badass moment. He shows up, bows his head, says, pardon my intrusion. I told the kid to look for the bag. That pouch is actually mine, so they did find the pouch. And it makes sense. This isn't really like plot convenience or anything like that. Of course, they would have searched the dead bodies before throwing them in the pit, right? They would have searched dead bodies for any valuables and stuff like that. They clearly would have found this Senjuzo, and as this guy, who's a few screws loose as we've talked about, said, like, I don't care about, I found it in the graveyard over there, there's a curious plant inside, I don't really care what happens to people, but plants are a whole nother matter. So we got male poison ivy as the general now. Okay, we can work with that. We can work with that, can't we, ladies and gentlemen? So, either way, Hawk basically says, yes, it is mine. You don't have any proof of that. I found it, so it's mine. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Then Hawk throws his words right back at him. Throws his words, because what the general said was sort of like, you would get your arm cut off, you'd get your finger cut off in the capital for anything less than this, And so Hawk just throws it right back. You'd have your finger cut off if this were the capital. But he's just like, ooh, the expression he gives him is, ooh, how can I argue with me? Those are my words, and he's goddamn right. So, he can't argue with himself. So Hawk's just like, do what you will. So he's like, all right, I'm not going to charge you. But then, of course, as Hawk's wife pointed out, the entire idea is like, are you a deserter? You seem to be of young age, able-bodied. Like, what are you doing here in this village? Why aren't you a part of a unit? Sort of idea. Hawk's wife tries to explain that he was injured, blah, 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 and then Shing slashes head. Of course, the general's not buying it. It's like, this is a man who just stopped my swing of my sword with his bare goddamn hand like it was nothing. I don't buy that he's injured at all. So, and then, of course, he isn't, Hawk manages to dodge no problem, because this guy is definitely not on Hawk's level. I can tell you right now. I don't care that he's a general. There's the 9 great generals, the 4 great generals, whatever. They are not a Hawk's level. There's probably 1 or 2 generals in the South Kai Kingdom that are Hawk's level. But this guy ain't one of them. This guy is going up against a goddamn Yonko, and he's a freaking admiral, okay? He's an admiral at best. He's an admiral, and Hawk is the goddamn Shanks of the series. So, let's go. Either way, he tells him to go back to his troop and stuff like that. Of course, thankfully, Hawk knows one of the names of the general. It's like, what squad are you with? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh shit, Hawk gonna get caught? And he's like, General Ryan. General Ryan. And it's like, alright, the only one he knows. And it's like, oh yes, he was flooded and he fought against an infantryman who dealt him quite serious blows. And Hawk's like, yeah, crazy that. Yeah. I wonder what dashing scoundrel could have pulled off something like that, you know, beating a general black and blue. Hope you catch that guy. Anyways, so point of the matter is that he said, all right, instead of being a deserter, now this guy, once again, for the third, fourth, fifth time, screws are loose in this guy's head. They just, every time you see him, like, he's losing another one. It's like if he was the Frankenstein monster, those bolts are so loose, they're friggin' out of his neck at this point, you know? So, either way, he just basically said, well, since General Ryan has been delayed and he's not here yet, you're going to join my squad for now. Refuse and die. So, let's go. Either way, and he's like, and if you refuse, your family's going to be completely decapitated too. So we're going to kill your wife, kill your kid, and Hawk's just like, Christ, they're not my family, but all right, well, I can't have that happen, so here we go. So that first part of the chapter was absolutely greatness. It was true greatness. I think we all know it. I think it's pretty easy to say. The next part is continuing off from the last chapter where, of course, the catapults are definitely a bit of a problem, but as Kisok points out at the halfway through this part of the chapter, they became a bit of a double-edged sword with the dragons here, because Jodo is trying to focus the formations and shambles with the catapults being brought up to the front lines and stuff, but Kija and jae-ha are, of course, grabbing them, sending them back, kicking them, sending them back. So it became a double-edged sword. Now, this is where, unfortunately, there's two key points to bring up here. Number one, the general is not stupid. So we have the Wind Tribe and the Fire Tribe are going to flank this army. So this is good. This is good. Jodo's going straight down formation center, but we have flanking happening. Classic military move in war, right? But the general decides, let's use our own human weapons. And he does basically something similar to, as he points out, Yuhan did, which still, I wish he hadn't brought it up. We could have made the connection on our own, but Yuhan, the thing that Yuhan did, cutting the Zing members' heads off, the prisoners of war heads off, and lobbing them over the city walls instead of, like, parlaying and all that shit and, like, negotiating and all that crap. So, and I still have no indication that he would ever, like, we don't have that indication that he was like that. We still don't really ever saw a glimpse of that in the flashback, so I'm still not fully buying it, still not making a whole lot of sense. But maybe it did happen, I don't know. We saw glimpses of it at best. Glimpses of it at best. But once again, I'm still salty about that flashback thing. I know we all are. I don't think any of us really enjoyed the flashback very much, so there was that. There were great points in the flashback, but it fell so flat that it ruined all the build-up of the flashback, I would argue. The flashback itself wasn't that bad. Either way, so he instead lobs instead of lobbing prisoners of war heads, lobs live prisoners from the Earth Tribe that they captured, and basically said, well, I mean, if they hit the ground at, this velocity and this height, they're going to die, so you better catch them and stuff, and realize that, and jae-ha and Kija are, of course, they're very far away from, they're on the border of Koka Kingdom. Remember what happened last time? Their energy levels are not nearly what they are. Their stamina is going to be depleted very, very quickly, except for, of course, Zeno. Zeno's going to be all right for the most part. I mean, he'll be in a lot of pain, but he'll definitely be okay. So Shinnah and Zeno end up racing off after Yona sort of feels this and notices this and basically says, I have a bad feeling about this, Han Solo style, saying Kija and jae-ha, they're pushing themselves too far sort of idea. Soo-won recognizes this and notices this, what Yona is talking to Shinnah and Zeno about. They end up chasing off, so we're going to see all 4 dragons fight in the next chapter. That's going to be pretty sweet. jae-ha and Kija are definitely sweating, and we see that. Like, their stamina levels are very depleted very, very quickly. The human weapons are launched, of course, and they're trying to catch them and everything like that. And they're just like, this is exactly why we hate war. This is ridiculous, and they're trying to save everybody and things like that. Now, this is where Kija and jae-ha decide they are going to just go straight for them. They're going to destroy the catapult before they can do any more of this. They're going straight for it. Beeline, you know, because whatever. But they're going to go for a beeline straight for the catapults. That's the end of the chapter. Yona is, of course, incredibly worried about them. But I would argue that all we need to do is get Shina close enough and can use the dragon's eyes and make a pathway for them so that they can get to the catapult, destroy it, and get the hell out of Dodge, because they're already very far away from Hiryu Castle, and they're also right on the line. Other than Zeno, the dragons are going to be very, very weakened. Very weakened by this. So, I don't think it's something that soo-won knows about. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. So, hard to say with that one. But he noticed something. He noticed Yona's connection or feeling or whatever, sort of a almost a psychic link between her and the dragons, realizing something's wrong, something's negative, can sort of sense the flow. It's like a sixth sense, and soo-won is suspecting of it at the very least at this point. Now, you could easily say, okay, this is perfect at the end of this chapter. You could say this is perfect. The dragons are on the field. They're going to push back this one general without problem. It's the 4 dragons, for God's sakes. If anything, you got Zeno. You got the Wind Tribe. You got the Fire Tribe. You got soo-won. You got everybody but Hawk there. We're going to be fine. Hawk and Mundok are the only ones missing. And even Gwentai is there in the background. So the main thing here is that you would think this would be easy, because Hawk is going to show up and he's going to be a member, and he can just go, ha, I desert, boom. But now he cares for the lives of the 2 people he left behind. If he leaves, they're going to be executed. So he's going to probably have to fight against the dragons and make it look good. This is going to cause a problem. And you know what? I like this. Sometimes that can be done plot convenience and it feels very contrived. Here, I don't believe it does. Here, I think Hawk being on this side and being who he is, with this one woman who gave a gift of kindness and this one general who's a total dickwad, makes a lot of sense. It's not really done plot convenience. The Senjuzo has been found. I assume he was given it back at this point. He's probably going to slide it off or hand it off to jae-ha or Kija or somebody, and then they're going to back away, they're going to retreat, and he's going to have to try to figure out a way out of this. Likely, Hawk is going to try to convince them to leave with him to Koka Kingdom. They're going to refuse. There's going to be a thing. There's going to be a fight. Somebody's going to get hurt. Something like that is going to happen. But I actually like this plot line. If this develops the way I just suggested, I'm going to be fine with that. I'm going to be happy with that, because a lot of the community, from what I read on Reddit and stuff like that, as toxic a place as Reddit can be, a lot of people like Hawk's wife. And I like her too. I like the kid, and I like Hawk's wife automatically. We don't know much about her yet, but I already like her. I like her design. I like her attitude. I like her character. I like her personality. There's a lot to like about her right out of the gate. So I really think that I want to see more of her. I want to see the development. I want everybody, of course, back together. We want the Happy Hungry Bunch back together. But I don't think it's going to be this easy. This is sort of like a tease. Sort of like they're 1 foot away. Sort of like having like a glass wall separating you, but you can't break the glass. You know, you're this close, but miles apart from actually being able to actually get back together, sort of idea. So it's frustrating, but it's a good frustrating for us as readers. It builds tension. It builds good plot development. I think we're into a good section of Yona. If this is going to start off the year with a "now you feel like #1 king" moment from Hawk, and then jae-ha, Kija, and the dragons fighting on the front lines of a war, if this is how we're going to start off, good plot development, dragons fighting, Hawk being Hawk, you know, I think this is a great way to start off 2022 for Akatsuki no Yona. I really do. Do you guys agree? I think this was a great chapter to start off the year. Next chapter, we're back to monthly, it looks like. I think the next chapter is dropping in February. So, but very early February, I think the 3rd or the 4th. Not 100% on that. But either way, really looking forward to that chapter. Hope you guys enjoyed this chapter, of course. This is my review and my reaction and blah, 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 all that fun jazz. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Fourth and most importantly, drink responsibly, as I always do. And we will see you guys back here next time for Yona of the Dawn, chapter 220. Looking forward to it in February. Hope you guys are too. See you back here next time. Bye-bye.